welcome to the creative community. I'm your host, David Starkey, and my guests this time are Sara Martinovich, Brendan Fleming from loose Affiliation of Artists. You are founding members of this new company here in Santa Barbara. Welcome to both of you.
Thank you very much for having us.
Well, we're going to talk about your history so far. You've done 3 plays, The Shape of Things, Tape, and you're about to do Humpty Dumpty here on October the 4th?
Yep, 4th, 5th, and 6th, and 11th, 12th, 13th.
Okay, so 2 weekends at Center Stage.
That's right.
Right. So that's the reason that you're here first, but we want to talk about your company overall. I want to get a sense of you as young actors, members of a new theater company here in Santa Barbara. Sara, when we were talking earlier, you said you've been acting since you were in junior high.
Yeah.
Talk about your early experiences as an actor.
Well, I was one of those random kids placed in an unchosen elective. Didn't really elect.
Right.
Yeah, I was just randomly was given drama as
Right.
an elective in 7th grade, and I was pretty determined to be a veterinarian at that point, and took it and in my first play, and I was just absolutely.
You love being on stage.
This was it.
Yeah.
This was it.
Yeah.
So I took it all through junior high and did it in high school and did a lot of community theater, summer stock,
Right.
musicals, Shakespeare, everything, and decided to pursue it in college. I went to UC Irvine for 2 years,
Oh, okay.
but it was a little too close to home,
Okay.
so I decided I need to.
Now that's a big acting program, right? And
Yes.
there's an MFA, and I
Very
understand
much.
that it's difficult for undergrads to sort of find.
Yeah, and that was kind of my issue with it. I really wanted a little bit more of a hands-on curriculum as opposed to theory, that kind of thing. I mean, there's plenty of costumes to sew, but not necessarily a lot of like hands-on.
Right.
Not necessarily like acting. At that point, I was deciding whether I wanted to keep with acting or start directing. So I did a lot of directing in high school, just shorter things for competitions or one acts or that sort of thing. So when I decided to come back to Santa Barbara, they had a BFA program, which is their intensive acting, which was a 3-year program. You have to start again as a sophomore, and I was already a junior, and I was thinking, I want to, start another year over again and financially. And at that point, I was pretty much decided if acting, if something came along role and I was asked, and it was something that was fun, I would decide to do it. But I wanted to study directing, and that kind of was where I went.
And you have been the director of all 3 of the plays so far for this Affiliation of Artists. Well, Brendan, what about you? Talk about your earlier experiences.
Well, I've been acting since the age of 10. I started doing talent shows in elementary school, a lot of lip syncing and dancing stuff. And so I think there's probably a mean videotape of me doing Grease Lightning somewhere. Along the way, I got cast. I grew up in Sonoma, California, and I got cast in a play called Broadway Babies, which was part of a theater in Santa Rosa. And then since then I was hooked, and I always wanted to act, and so I've been on stage since the age of 10. Moved to Santa Barbara to pursue school, and I kept up with the acting through City College. I moved to LA for a time. I got in the Screen Actors Guild. I started a theater company there. We did 4 or 5 plays. Then I had a daughter. We wanted to raise her here, so we came back to Santa Barbara, and I didn't do a play for a long time. I went back and forth to Los Angeles for auditions and things like that, and had some luck with TV shows and commercials and agents and things like that. But I was always missing the creative part of it and doing theater, and I really missed doing theater. So Sara and I met doing ensemble and storybook theater, and literally in the dressing room at Ensemble Theater, we decided we should do The Shape of Things. With Michael and
in the
Kate.
midst of children's theater.
Yeah, because I had this play, I had The Shape of Things, a play that I wanted to do for a really long time. I was doing scenes from it in acting classes in Los Angeles, and I really wanted to do this play. And I didn't think if the opportunity arose where somebody was going to produce this play, I don't think I would have gotten cast as the lead guy. I think I probably wouldn't gotten cast as the other male lead in the play. And so I really wanted to play Adam. And I knew the only way to do that was to start my own theater company and do it myself. And then when I had Sara and Kate and Michael, together in this dressing room, I remember thinking about it the night before, and I go, this is just a bolt from the blue. I have to bring this play down to these people and talk to them and say, we can do this. We should do this play, because nobody's doing theater like this in Santa Barbara, and they believed in it, they believed in me, or I conned them really well, and
Now,
we just went for it.
talk about the process of starting up a theater company. I mean, you're saying the creative aspect is what really attracts you. I mean,
Right.
the financial experience might be something different. Right?
Well, we've been very lucky with that because Sara has had no problem yet with loaning her money and hopefully making money back from time to time.
I look at it as an investment
yeah.
in me.
Right, and Sara, I mean, we've had this conversation before where she was applying to a lot of different schools and she wasn't really sure what she wanted to do. She was thinking about leaving Santa Barbara, and then she got, she took the reins and directed it, and I think that made her, believe that wow, we really could do this. And the most important part of doing all this is just believing in yourself. I mean, starting a theater company, we never thought, wow, how are we going to start a theater company? Let's get a book and see how to start a theater company.
It just started as we should do this show because I was, like Brendan said, I was trying to get assistant directing jobs in town, and that was becoming very fruitless in this town. Unfortunately, nobody wants help. So it was getting frustrated. I was doing a lot of PAing, a lot of ASM, stage managing.
You wanted to get out there and direct.
And yeah, I just, and I knew I needed experience before. If I was going to apply to grad school, I knew I just really wanted to be around directors and watch them work. And not a lot of directors in town were willing to give me that opportunity. So just, making money, just trying to figure out the next step. And that's
all you got together.
doing storybook. And I was, I'm like, well, I'm really a director as we're, in a wig and.
Well, we've got some pictures of your experiences so far. Let's take a look at the first one, which is a kind of, I think, a blurry black and white.
Yeah.
But this is back in the very
Our
early days. The
freshman
people
year.
from the.
These are the founding members of the loose affiliation of artists. And there's Kate over on the right, and Michael, who we'll be talking about in a minute, I think. There's me, and Suzette, Sara with the very long hair.
Wig.
Sarah with the very long hair, yeah. So can you tell us the last names too, and maybe a little bit about the background of these other two people? We've heard about you.
Definitely.
So I think you should do that.
Kate Paulson, she is a Westmont grad recently. I think she's a year and a half out. She's dancer, actress. We did Storybook together, and she does a lot with Lip Moon.
Okay.
Very involved.
She's in Poland right now.
She's in Poland
actually.
right now. Yeah.
Oh,
Lip
wow.
Moon, I think,
Doing
right?
Lip Moon. She's been doing that for 2 years, so
Okay.
she's pretty involved with that. Michael Conrad, also Westmont graduate, and he is sort of a writer, director, actor, technician extraordinaire,
And
jack of all
he's
trades.
helping us a lot right now with behind the scenes stuff
Yeah.
for this play.
Right.
And he's key for different things too. I mean, warming up, and even though he hasn't been in these last two plays, he's been very important with
He's up
the end
a
result.
great force for good. I found a former student of mine. Too.
Yeah, he's a great guy. He's a hard worker, dedicated.
He ups the energy level.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he does. He's been very helpful to me personally as an actor, just helping me get into the right place, and so.
We've got some images from The Shape of Things, and we can maybe talk about
Sure.
what we're looking at here. So let's roll the first one and see. What's this right
Well, this
here?
is actually from The Shape of Things. I threw this picture in
No.
because this is not actually the first play we did with Storybook Theater. Mine. This is my second play that I did for Storybook
okay.
Theater. And I have to thank Miller James right away because he's the
Definitely.
person that brought us all together, not knowing that it was going to turn into this. But this is when we did The Little Mermaid, and we keep saying yes to Miller because we love him so much, and it ends up being a
Yeah,
lot of fun.
it's great.
And so there's Sarah in the pink wig and me
Sarah is happy
as the
to have
prince.
this
I get
picture,
typecast as the prince every time.
She's always the prince, and I'm always some sort of witch.
Yeah,
So-
so we get typecast as the witch and the prince.